All right. What we'll do, Coach, is we'll go ahead and let you give an opening statement, then we'll take questions, okay?
Okay. All right, quick turnaround. Obviously, Saturday to Friday turnaround for game week means everything got sped up pretty good. So came back yesterday, took a good look at the film with the players. Coaching staff was back in the office early Sunday morning, preparing for Cincinnati also. Got our corrections and adjustments and everything from the Tulane game taken care of. Had a shorter practice yesterday, just, concerned this week with making sure we get our kids fresh for Friday night. So without the day off today, we went just a short Sunday practice, and then be a touch shorter the next 2 days than a traditional week to try to keep from putting too much on our kids right here at the beginning of the week. So should be rested up, recovered, and prepared, and ready to go Friday night. Tough matchup, good football team we're playing, one of the top teams in the country, obviously. But it's an exciting matchup for our players. To be able to go on the road against an opponent of Cincinnati's caliber and have that opportunity to play on the national stage. Obviously, our players and staff will be very excited for that matchup.
Okay, we'll open it up to questions for Coach Houston now.
Coach, obviously Cincinnati's defense is what stands out. Just when you watch that side of the ball, what catches your attention the most with their defense?
Well, I think really it's not just with their defense. I thought the thing looking at all three phases is just the thing that stands out is their team speed. I think they run very, very well at all levels. They have good size up front on the defensive line, but those kids can really move. Run very well in the secondary. They're very aggressive at the linebacker position. You'll see them play some drop 8, where it's just a 3-man rush and they're still getting pressure on people. And then they bring a variety of pressures, much like we do. So very athletic, run very, very well. People have struggled to run the football against them this year, and they've been very stingy.
You had against them last time out. When you look at their video, what kind of stands out to you in terms of?
I missed the beginning of your question. What'd you say, Mark?
I said you had good success against Cincinnati last time out. And when you look at their video, what kind of stands out to you as kind of being similar as you enter this week's game, or are they completely different?
Well, it's the same players. You look at their roster, these guys have been playing for multiple years. They're seniors backed up by juniors across their 2 deep. Quarterback's a 3-year starter. We played well against them offensively last year, tough game, lost on a kick there at the end. But obviously, having to travel up there, playing on the road will be tough. And I think they're much improved. I even think they're improved from from the team I saw at the beginning of the year. I think they've continued to get better. Great depth across the board. So I just think we're playing a really good football team Friday night.
Hey, Coach Fritz, I listened to part of his post-game on Saturday, and he mentioned they had some good tells on y'all's blitzes. I don't know if that was pre-snap or, kind of their game plan. Just wondering, did you sense or notice any of that during the game, that they had either caught on to things y'all were doing or had success for them?
Well, I thought they did a good job with some of their check with me stuff. And they were remaining under center, so it made it challenging for us to adjust anything. But they did a good job with having us tip our hand, and then I thought their offensive line played very, very well against our movement. So they had a great game plan for us. I told Coach Harrell after the game that had to take a good hard look at that film, because I do think that's the best anyone has prepared for us.
Coach, a couple guys were out Saturday, or at least didn't play. Ramsor, Penix, and Hatfield. Can you provide any update there?
All three were battling injuries Saturday. Hoping to have a couple of them back this week. We'll just have to see how practice goes.
Coach, I know that you're doing your best to keep everything positive and to keep everything moving forward, but how difficult is it with a young team, especially after what happened against Tulsa, and then last week you played pretty well, but the score doesn't really reflect that. How difficult is it to keep these guys from getting a little down and to keep that positive momentum going, and knowing that you've made progress, but you're not seeing it on the field yet?
Well, I mean, I think we have seen progress on the field in that we're highly competitive in American Conference games versus a year ago we really struggled to be. You're right, we do have a very youthful roster. And, those guys are going through a lot of first experiences. The big thing I try to do is I try to keep them focused on, the things that we preach daily of what's important. And that's pushing ourselves to be the very best we can be each day, pushing ourselves to work to be, a more cohesive team every single day. And you look for motivational things, I try to find something motivational each week, but it really comes down to, we have set some goals for our program of what we want to become. And every single day we're working towards those goals. You're right. It's tough with, so many 18-year-olds, just keeping them upbeat, but I see so many positives, even, obviously extremely disappointed in the way we played in really the middle of our ball game against Tulane last week. But I can still find some positives and some bright spots coming out of that game. And so it's just trying to focus on the things we're doing well, trying to get things corrected that we're not doing well, try to, show the things that we can improve on, whether it's, as a coaching staff, because I think we can do things better as a coaching staff than what we did last week, or as players. But the biggest thing we're trying to focus on is, we have a positive team-minded culture in our locker room. We have really good kids in this program, and just trying to cultivate, all those positives to keep getting better every single week.
I misspoke. I should have said I haven't seen progress on the scoreboard, not the field. So, but you talk about motivational tools. How much of a motivational, factor is it to be able to knock off a top 10 team on national TV and kind of get that attention for your program?
Well, I mean, I think, having the opportunity to play against a quality opponent like Cincinnati is something that, I certainly cherish and I'm excited about. And I think our kids will be too. It's one of those things where, right now Cincinnati is the top team in our league. And until somebody knocks them off, they're going to be the top team in our league. And so I've been there. I've been the bunch that's at the top. And when you're at the top, the tough thing about it is you're going to get everybody's best every single week. And that's different than most teams in this league, because, most teams in this league, you're not going to get everybody's best every single week. But Cincinnati right now probably is. And that's certainly something it's hard to get to the top, but it's just as hard to stay at the top.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thanks.
Coach, if you look at your last two road games here in the conference, big one at USF and then that game at Tulsa, does that give you, your coaching staff, your team, any more confidence going into this road matchup for possibly a third straight big-time performance on the road?
Well, I mean, I think that our team has shown it can handle the schedules of travel. It can handle the schedules of playing at night, because each of our last two road games have been night games. And so I think that our team has confidence in, what they need to do to get ready. The big focus, though, is home or away. It's our preparation, and the weeks that we have had great weeks of preparation and really crisp practices and great competition, we've played well that weekend. And so that's been my big focus with the team yesterday. It'll be my big focus with them today, because they know it, because they feel it, they go through it. And so they know that when they practice well, they play well. And so hopefully we can have a great week of practice this week in preparation and be ready to play at a very high level Friday night.
Coach, as far as the running game against Tulane, you said you wanted to look at the tape, and maybe what did you learn from the tape?
Well, I think that Tulane is very good in the front seven, athletically, good size. And I thought they played very well. We did have some MAs, and when you have an MA up front, it's usually hard to have a productive play. And so that was part of it. So I think it's a combination of, we've got to play a cleaner game from an execution standpoint up front. And then I don't want to take anything away from Tulane. I think they're a very good football program, a very solid team when it comes to the line of scrimmages on both sides.
The past month or so, it seems like Desmond Ridder for Cincinnati, his run game is kind of what's taken them to another level. I mean, that added dimension, how much do you think that's maybe changed or enhanced what they can do on offense?
Well, I think he's a legitimate run threat, obviously. He's their second leading rusher. They have a lot of quarterback design stuff with reads off the backside of a run play. And, with the way he runs, you have to account for him. And so it's going to be something that's going to be a challenge this week. And then, he has stuff where a play breaks down and he gets a lot of yardage in quarterback scramble runs. And so I think he's really improved his play since the beginning of the year. At the beginning of the year, he struggled a little bit with some turnovers, but I think he's gotten more consistent with taking care of the football and his decision-making, and his ability to run certainly gives them an additional threat offensively.
Coach,
Tulane, go ahead, Steve.
I was going to say, going off that with Holton, his rushing numbers are a little down this year. Is that something you would like to see more of, or teams taking that away? What are you kind of seeing there?
I think it's a couple of different things. We had a couple of quarterback design runs last week, but there's just the standard zone read stuff. People are defending Holton. They know he's a mobile quarterback, and they're taking some of that away. So, we've got to be creative in order to run the football against Cincinnati. So I think we're going to have to look at a lot of different things. But people are defending Holton a little bit different this year than they did last year.
So carrying on with that a little bit, Tulane kind of threw the ball the first 5 times in the ball game, and maybe the first 6 or 7 times out of the first 10 plays, it seems like. Got yourselves into a bit of a track meet. Was this by design, or was this the sort of thing where you want to stretch them out a little bit and get them running all over the field as well, or is there going to be more emphasis on the run game, or what do you have to do in terms of running the football to be successful against Cincinnati?
I'm a little confused. Just what exactly do you want me to answer? Do you want me to address Tulane or Cincinnati?
Well, we seem to throw the ball an awful lot last week, just like he said. Is that going to be the case this week, or can you be successful doing that, or do you have to be able to run the football to be successful against Cincinnati?
Well, I think we would like to be balanced. I've been consistent with that all throughout. I mean, I don't want to be one-dimensional. And last week, I did think that Tulane made us very much one-dimensional. And so I think we've got to do a better job of being balanced this week. Certainly, we're going to have to be able to throw the ball effectively against Cincinnati, but we'd like to run the ball effectively also. It's Coach Kirkpatrick and the staff have been working diligently since early Sunday morning to try to come up with the game plan that's going to give us our best opportunity for success.
Coach, there was a report Saturday pregame that Trayvon Freshwater has been moved to tight end. Is that accurate? And can you just walk us through kind of what went into that decision?
Yes, we have moved Trayvon to tight end. It's the thing that we didn't get the opportunity with, particularly, being 1 year into the program is, that spring practice last spring, a lot of spring practice is figuring out who can help you where. And so I think you're having a lot of that go on this fall. We've shuffled several of our young kids around. It was a deal where Trayvon was not, he was not overly competitive at the defensive tackle position throughout the fall. Certainly, Trayvon has, some God-given ability. And so he and I talked multiple times, and, the combination of, trying to continue to develop that tight end room. And I think Trayvon had a desire to get back to the offensive side of the football. And so it's kind of one of those things where there was a need there, and it was something that he was wanting to do. And so we've made that adjustment. It'll probably be a year or so before you see just, how that adjustment plays out, because the transition, it's going to take time to develop him there at that position. But certainly it was something that he was motivated to do, and I think it's something that will give us hopefully some additional depth there at that position.
One final question for Coach Houston. See you not. Coach, thank you for your time, sir.
Okay. Thanks a lot, guys.
Coach.
See you later on the week.
Okay.
Good job. I'll work on this game program.